Let me share with you that the challenge of migration that we are experiencing at our southern border is not exclusive to the United States. It is something that is gripping the entire hemisphere.
But my job is to worry about the United States,
As
Mr.
is
Chairman.
mine. As is mine.
And here's my question. Let me try to rephrase it. And I really do wish, I understand the position you're in, but you really should try to do a better job of answering the questions.
Let's be particular about what
And
you
I
do.
should say that the CBP One app was not unveiled for the first time on January 5th of this year.
Oh, no, but you changed it. You made it available on January 5th to the illegals themselves. You don't have to be a lawyer to use it. You don't have to be a member of a non-governmental organization. Anybody can download the app and use it on their phone. And for the first time, you allowed them to schedule appointments. Now, let's talk about what actually happens when they come to the border. It's interesting. You characterize this.
Senator John Kennedy and Senator Josh Hawley confronted DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas in a fiery Senate hearing, and the results were devastating. Their questions cut through the dodges and exposed the truth about the border crisis, national security failures, and the reckless policies of this administration. This isn't just political theater. This is about protecting America's sovereignty and holding leaders accountable. Watch as Kennedy and Hawley humiliate Mayorkas and bring the truth to light.
America.
Senator, I do.
What is an assault weapon?
It is, for example, an AK-47.
Can you give me a definition other than just pointing to a specific weapon? Would there be other weapons besides an AK-47 you would ban?
There very well are. And I remember when I was a federal prosecutor in the Central District of California from September 25th, 1989 to, I believe it was April 2001.
And I thank you for your service, but if you could answer my question.
The vast majority of law enforcement officers, leaders with whom I worked were greatly in support of the assault weapons ban.
Mr. Chairman, you know why we get so frustrated with you? Because you won't give straight answers.
I think I just did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Do you have a definition of an assault weapon?
I am confident there is a technical definition of what is an assault weapon, and it was assuredly used in the context of the statute that previously existed banning assault weapons.
Mr. Secretary, our southern border is not secure, is it?
Senator, I have spoken about this. I believe I've addressed this earlier in the hearing.
Why don't you address it again?
Of course. Let me share with you a few things. Number one, when I speak of the security of the border, I am speaking of maximizing the resources we have to deliver the most effective results.
So
and let me assure you that we are doing
secure
so.
because we're trying to secure it. Are we succeeding?
Senator, we are so focused on the security of our southern border. We are doing so much with respect to the surge of personnel.
How you're not succeeding?
Oh, Senator, let me share with you that the challenge of migration that we are experiencing at our southern border is not exclusive to the United States. It is something that is gripping the entire hemisphere.
But my job is to worry about the United States,
As is mine. As is mine.
And here's my question. Let me try to rephrase it. And I really do wish, I understand the position you're in, but you really should try to do a better job of answering the questions. Under the Biden administration, we have the most encounters. We have had the most encounters with people attempting to come into our country illegally in the history of ever. Under the Biden administration, we have had the most people entering our country illegally in the history of ever. Under the Biden administration, we have had the most gotaways at our southern border in the history of ever. Under the Biden administration, we have had the most number of people entering our country under a claim of asylum, having that claim turned down and still not being deported in the history of ever. And under the Biden administration, we've had the most fentanyl coming into our country in the history of ever. how can you possibly say the southern border is secure?
Do you know
I
that-
understand your answer that you're trying, but I'm not asking about your efforts. I'm asking about the results.
Well, let's talk about the results then, Senator. Do you know that last year we expelled and removed approximately 1.4 million people from the southern border? I believe that's the most ever. Do you realize that we are focused on enforcing our laws to achieve? I look forward to following up with you, Senator.
Thanks, Senator Padilla. Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for being here. Let me start with what I hope is a simple question. Do we need to have more or fewer people coming to our southern border?
Senator, we are working on diminishing the number of people whom we encounter at our southern border because of the challenge it presents. We're trying to build lawful, safe, and orderly pathways to accomplish that.
Okay, fewer. So we need to have fewer, which means we need to roll back incentives to come. So I would have thought that would have been the answer. Let's talk about what you're doing, though. In January of this year, you rolled out a new phone app called CBP One, an app for a cell phone. I've got a picture of it behind me here. This phone app allows, and I'm going to quote from your own fact sheet, it allows, and I quote, non-citizens without appropriate documents for admission to schedule an appointment to come to the border. They can now go on their phone and schedule a time to come to the border and then be admitted. And you identified 7 separate border points of entry where they could come. 5 of them in Texas, 2 of them in California, 1 in Arizona. It's like a concierge service for illegal immigrants. My question is, you didn't think the border crisis was bad enough that now we're going to have an app that allows illegals to schedule their appointments and come and be admitted to this country?
Senator, you're mischaracterizing the use of the application. Let me explain it to you. We are currently enforcing the public health order of Title 42, and I know you're very familiar with it. There is a process for individuals who claim an exception to the Title 42 expulsion authority because of an acute medical condition.
Well, let's talk about this app.
If I may finish, an urgent humanitarian reason. So instead of them coming in between the ports of entry to claim that urgent medical condition, that extraordinarily acute humanitarian cause, we allow a limited number to arrive at our ports of entry and seek the emergency relief that they need.
Schedule, you allow them, let's be particular about what you do.
And I should say that the CBP One app was not unveiled for the first time on January 5th of this year.
Oh, no, but you changed it. You made it available on January 5th to the illegals themselves. You don't have to be a lawyer to use it. You don't have to be a member of a non-governmental organization. Anybody can download the app and use it on their phone. And for the first time, you allowed them to schedule appointments. Now, let's talk about what actually happens when they come to the border. It's interesting. You characterized this when you rolled it out as an application for applying for asylum. But nowhere on the app do you actually require the illegal migrants to apply for asylum or to claim asylum or anything about asylum. And in fact, when they then get to the border, you don't ask them questions, you don't do interviews, you just release them. Here's the Texas Monthly, not a notable conservative outlet, who reports, and I quote, "At no point does the app ask users, are you seeking asylum? Those arriving for the CBP One appointments are given no interviews, asked no questions about vulnerabilities that they may or may not have listed in the app or about why they're coming to the United States. They're simply released into the country," end quote. So rather than building a wall, Mr. Secretary, you have built Ticketmaster for illegal immigrants.
You are, Senator, you are conflating programs. Let me explain to you.
Just respond to this. Is it true that they are given no interviews, asked no questions, and simply released into the country?
Let me explain to you what we announced on January 5th.
No, I want you to explain to me what's happening. I know what you announced. I read it to you.
So I will explain to you what is happening.
Are they given interviews? Let's start with that. Are they given interviews?
We were previously experiencing
That's starting to sound like a no. Well, let's just
90
hone in here. Mr. Secretary, my time is very limited. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to drive to some clarity here.
But Senator,
The Texas Monthly has reported that once illegal immigrants go on their phone and reserve their time to come to the border, once they use your concierge service that you've created for them, when they come, they are given no interviews. They are asked no questions about any vulnerabilities. They are simply released into the country. Is that happening?
Senator, you are mistaken. And if I may explain.
Are they given interviews?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and drop a like because what I'm about to break down today is one of the most telling moments you will ever see inside the halls of Congress. Senator John Kennedy and Senator Josh Hawley just took Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to task, and to put it lightly, it was brutal. This wasn't a polite disagreement or some staged back and forth. No, this was two senators laying bare the failures, the arrogance, and the dishonesty of an administration that has left America vulnerable. As I sat watching that hearing, I couldn't help but shake my head. Mayorkas has presided over the worst border crisis in modern American history. Millions of illegal crossings. Drugs like fentanyl pouring across the southern border. Families destroyed. Law enforcement stretched to its breaking point. And when the American people demand answers, what do we get? Smiles, word games, and a man who acts as if accountability is beneath him. Senator Kennedy came at him with that trademark sharpness, polite but cutting like a blade. He asked questions that every American is asking. Why won't you secure the border? Why won't you admit the problem is real? And Mayorkas? He dodged. He deflected. He looked like a man cornered. Kennedy humiliated him not with theatrics, but with simple truth. Truth so powerful that Mayorkas couldn't even form a straight answer. Then came Senator Hawley, who doesn't mince words. He looked Mayorkas dead in the eye and made it clear, your department has been derelict. You have failed in your duty to protect this country. He pressed him on issues that go far beyond immigration, issues of integrity, of allowing radicals within DHS, of letting political ideology infiltrate what should be about national security. Hawley laid out the evidence, one piece after another, and Mayorkas crumbled under the weight of it. Watching that exchange, you could feel the tension in the room. You could see the mask slip. And when the truth was exposed, Mayorkas had nothing left but to sit there in silence. This wasn't just a hearing, it was a public trial of competence, and Mayorkas was found guilty in the eyes of the American people. These senators gave voice to what millions of us feel, that this administration does not care about our borders, our sovereignty, or our safety. And the most dangerous part? They pretend as though we don't notice. I'll tell you this, Kennedy and Hawley didn't just question Mayorkas, they exposed him. They showed the American people exactly what kind of leadership we're dealing with. Leadership that fails, lies, and still expects us to bow our heads and say thank you. Well, we won't. Not anymore. And that's why moments like this matter. Because even though the media will spin, even though the establishment will try to bury the clips, the truth shines through when men like Kennedy and Hawley refuse to back down. They humiliated Mayorkas not because they're showmen, but because they dared to speak plainly about what he's done and what he hasn't done. At the end of the day, the border crisis is not an accident. It's the direct result of choices. Choices made by this administration. Choices that Mayorkas has overseen. And while he can dodge the senators, he cannot dodge the American people. We see the crime in our communities. We see the drugs in our towns. We see the chaos at the border. And we know exactly who is responsible. So let me leave you with this. If we want real change, if we want America to be secure, then it's time to demand accountability. Kennedy and Hawley started the fight in that hearing room, but it's up to us to finish it. We must speak out, we must vote, and we must never forget who put this nation in danger.